Welcome back. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th of 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm going to talk about another comment because it really got me thinking a lot about what it is that I do compared to what it is that I notice that other people do. And there's some things that I've just noticed to be able to help me out. Here is a video that just my recommendations. I'm not for everything. I'm not for everybody. I'm for someone who wants to be able to get a dog to look like this: calm, chill, hanging out. This is what I'm going to say that I specialize in with being able to understand animals. I know a little bit of other things, like getting the dogs to track stuff out, getting dogs to move animals around, getting dogs even I love the fetch stuff, especially in water and playing fetch and doing stuff. I know how to do all of these things, but I don't get to do any of that until I get to the point that the dogs are able to just be able to relax and be with me. Because everything outside of that is like absolute frustration before you get to calm. If you're going out and all you're doing is playing fetch, like, you can do that as a human. It's straight up. I don't care who you think you are. It gets tired. It straight up, like, in reality, gets annoying. It gets aggravating and frustrating because you're like on the go, and it's just like when are we gonna be able to just chill? Because you're in reality, most cases, on the way that I really just kind of know dogs and know human beings, you're trying to play fetch, you're trying to play games, you're trying to do stuff with the dog to be able to get the dog to be able to relax. But if you're never actually, like, what I want to say is teach the dog how to calm down, you're just not going to get to that point. Because straight up, I do say to exercise the dogs, give the dog the game that the dog needs. And then, for some dogs, like this dog back here, that works really good. For this dog here, it's iffy, but as long as I do run her a lot, I don't need to, like, do much. She just, for the most part, just relaxes. But I'm talking, we got to do a lot of running. This dog here, he never, I'm straight say never. He never gets to the point that I can literally just work him to the point that he's just calm. I will work him until he's like exhausted. He'll just, and then he'll just rest. And he's like, let's go again. I could do that again. He could do that all day, maybe not 24/7, but more than likely 24/7, because he hits that point of tired and then he just recovers. And then he can just keep going and just go and go. And some of y'all have that dog. And some of y'all are going to say, I can never get my dog to be able to be calm. But in reality, that's the first thing that I work on with all of my dogs across the board. I don't care to how hard I can get them to run, because some dogs just, they will run themselves to death. So I have to work on getting the dog to be able to relax. And this is a very interesting thing, because someone that I'm perceived to be and assumed to be a dog trainer, stating that you've never in your entire career, decades-long career, have never been able to get a dog to be able to be calm. And then put it upon saying it's the genetics of the dog. I have 3 different genetics of dogs here. One that I'm going to say is, so let's go on a scale of 1 to 10 on just movability, on just never getting tired, basically. This dude is like a 2. I work him hard once every other week. I could work him hard, and he's satisfied. He's your classic everyday chill couch potato type dog. He's for the most part always laying, always sleeping. And if I walk him and I'm out here too much, he starts to just he gets tired. He's tired. He can't do it. This dog here, I'm gonna put her at about as far as just getting tired. I don't think I ever possibly can. I don't think I can. So on a 1 to 10, this dog, I'm never getting to the point that I can get her to rest and then we can go do it again. I can get her to rest, I can go do it again. But she's way different than this dog, who's the same way, but she understands she likes to, that's the best way of saying it. She likes to cuddle. She likes to lay and get pets. He's not really cool about that. He's just about go. He's about let's do stuff. So everything with this dog is just get stuff done. So there's completely different animals here, but yet I'm able to convince all of them to do the exact same stuff, the exact same thing, get them to all be able to relax down. And that's what I'm going to say is I'm going to tell a half a story for a half a second, because it's interesting, because I work for a lot of dog trainers, because y'all call me in on the side. Y'all want to meet me somewhere so that my van don't show up, that you're getting help from somebody else. And I don't know why, but I work for a lot of dog trainers. And because you hit these crossroads of, like, I don't know what's going on right now. And I don't know how these people find me and what they see from me and what they've learned from me. But y'all got the same issue, that the dog is rowdy. It's just jumping, it's going, it's doing. It's like, I like my dog, I can play, I can do all kinds of wild stuff, but I just can't get the dog to relax in the house. It's just on the move. It has to stay in the crate. I can't get the dog to just be able to chill with just, I want to go for the walk around the neighborhood. I just want to go for a walk in the park, and the dog won't just relax. And I'm like, that's in reality, that's my specialty again. And that's when I focus on that, I'm able to get that, and be able to dial in on this specialty that I've been working on, especially this past like 7, 8, pretty much a year at this moment, because I've been dialing in on this to be able to figure out how to be able to get to that point. Because I noticed that all great things come from calm. Great things don't come from excited. And they always, and I have one specific person that I'll just never forget in my life, because it was just the funniest, most interesting situation. This woman calls me up if she needs some help with this dog. And then I'm working and playing with this dog. It's one dog that I actually just kept for a little while. And I'm playing with this dog, and this dog is perfect with me. I could take her anywhere. She's just hanging out on leash. She's not pulling. She's not going crazy. It was a beautiful dog. It was like a, I don't want to say Pyrenees, but it was like a Pyrenees Border Collie mix. It was a cool dog, really cool dog. But it was like, she was just like this boy here, this Border Collie. She was on a move. She was out here moving the cows around. She just knew what to do. It was the coolest thing. And then when I would give this dog back to the owner, this dog is a nightmare. And then her husband had to pull me to the side when she's off doing what she's doing. And he's like, Mark, is this really just a challenging dog? Because my wife seems to always keep getting these extremely challenging dogs that she just can't be able to get to relax. And when I hear something like that, I'm saying to myself, it's not the dogs, it's the human. The human has no idea how to be able to do that. Because most human beings are what? Impatient. They're irritated. They're stressed out. They're everything that doesn't represent how to be able to get a dog to be able to relax. Because if you want your dog to do something, you have to be what you want your dog to do. So when I am calm and just relaxed, my dogs do that same thing. So right now, like especially, it's the Border Collie. He just knows when all I got to do in reality with this dog is put a collar on him. I can put a collar on him, and that says, dude, we are 100% off duty. You may want to run, because I can go hours at this moment like this, because he's just going to eventually fall asleep. If he's not already asleep, he's already falling asleep. He just falls asleep, because he's like, I'm completely off duty. And I've spent hours and hours and hours with this dog doing this. When I first got him, this one dog, luckily I got as a puppy. These guys I got older off in age, and I don't even know how old Johnny is. But I had him as a puppy, and as a puppy, right away, we have times that we're doing, and we have times that you're not doing anything. And for him, when he was really young, it was easy to convince him without a leash. That's why I never put a leash on the dude. It's so easy to be able to do that. He would just lay, and then I'm working on a fence, doing whatever I'm doing. He would just lay there, and I'll come back and come pick him up and say, let's go play, let's go do something. But I spent hours on calm and laying and standing and being and sitting and doing nothing at all, and explaining to him I want nothing at all. And then once he's able to get to this calm, like as far as today, I don't care how active and how moving and how he has no desire to be calm. I don't care, because I like that. I like that out of my dog. And for one, I need that out of my dog. Most people don't need that. But as far as being able to convince this animal to be able to understand, like for instance, if I had to do an emergency move for a couple of months and I didn't have animals, I didn't have the availability to be able to allow him to be able to do what I do, my work basically, moving, cleaning, building stuff, fixing stuff. I'm doing a lot out here all the time. And he's with me doing that. If I didn't have that, I would still be able to maintain him to be able to be calm, because he understands how to basically shut down. We're done. Shut down. Be calm. Do nothing. We're not doing anything. And for this dog, it's not so hard because I've spent so much time on that. But a lot of y'all, you have no idea how to even be able to get there, because for one, the one thing that I do know that I've been helping people out with like crazy is to be able to help you get through your level of impatience, be able to allow you to be able to just relax your own self. And because there's one thing about these dogs, what anyone on the planet is going to say to me, I don't have time to do what you do, Mark. I'm going to say, you don't have time to do what you're doing right now because it's stressful. When it's chill, when my dogs look like this, when I go to the park, well, I don't take this dog to any public places. He's here. He rides in the van with me, he goes places, but he doesn't go public places. But I could take him to public places based on knowing how he is on leash. I know for a fact he's not going to do nothing, because I've taken him to gas stations and stuff and brought him out to go potty and things. He does absolutely nothing. I take him to the neighborhoods, he goes out, he runs, and he'll pee in the yard, and he goes back in the van. He does nothing to anyone. He sees dogs barking at him, he's just like, what's up, man? Like, how's it going? Because he's my favorite as far as bringing dogs that are nervous to put them around him. He really is able to calm them down, which is ironic in a way, because he's always on the go out here all the time. So how is a dog that's always on the go able to calm down? Because I have shown him how to be able to do that. And when he sees a dog that's like over top of him, where that's just like crazy, because that's how this Dalmatian was when I first got her. She was just like, too much. And he's looking at her like, we don't need to go that much. Like, we could dial that back a little bit. And then we start to calm, calm, calm. And this Dalmatian, I have spent hours and hours and hours of doing what you see me doing right now. I would go to the park and stand, go sit, stand, go sit, stand. I would spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing simply what I'm doing. And you know how I can do that for hours? Because it's easy. I'm not stressed. I'm not nervous. I'm not irritated. I'm not nothing. I'm calm. I'm just relaxing. Because for me, I do a lot of my hours of stuff. Sometimes I'm just sitting there and in the silence of just listening to the world. But most cases, I'm listening to a book. That's where I get my biggest education, is walking my dogs and working with my dogs. A lot of y'all turn the TV on and get your information that way. I go for a nice walk with my dog and I throw a book on and I'm listening to it. And I could do that for 2 hours. Calm, easy, chill. And once you get your dog to be calm, every single person I have ever helped with your dog, this is why I don't really care to put people on blast with what's going on with you, because the work that I do, a lot of y'all you're stressed already. You don't need to add another level of stress of putting you out there and showing off and trying to do that. But that's just how I view the world and look at the world. But every single person I know that starts to be able to get their dog to relax, you walk your dog like literally 3 times more now, because it's fun. But when the dog is pulling and you're on the go, you're just, oh my God, and 20 minutes of that is a nightmare. You're like having to constantly playing tug the whole way and playing fetch and doing this all the time. It's a nightmare. 20 minutes of that, I'm done. I gotta go. I gotta get in the house. And you gotta go and you gotta get a drink after that. Because it's crazy. But when the dog is relaxed, you could do that for hours. And you will start to do that for hours, as I see and proven with many other people. And you'll start to go other places. You'll start to experience more because it's easy. And you're able to just enjoy it. And it starts to become fun. And you start to, for some of y'all, you locked in your houses all the time. You don't go anywhere. But when your dog is able to just be relaxed and be able to take it place, you go places, you meet new people. You start to experience the world and have more fun. Because unfortunately, nowadays, we're so stuck in our cell phones that we don't even go out and do anything. I'm telling you, going out and doing stuff, oh my goodness, you are going to transform your life because you're caged in right now. Let's go. When you go out and are able to do more, it's an amazing, absolutely amazing experience. But you can't do it when the dog is just on the go. And then for someone to say, I've never had a dog and I can't get dogs and this with that dog, it's got nothing to do with the dogs. It's got everything to do with the human. Because every single one of just say, my dogs, I've taken from being extremely excited to be able to get them to be calm. And then I could flip it. I could just drop all the leashes right now. I don't drop them, but take off all the leashes right now and just say, let's go. I could flip it right back to just absolute insanity and then bring it right back down again. We just go up, we can go down. But the problem is most people, for some reason on this planet today, don't know how to get a dog to just simply do what it is that I'm going to say is my specialty, is get a dog to be relaxed. Get a dog to be calm. Because most unfortunate dog training in reality, especially treat-based stuff, is getting your dogs excited. And it's really hard to find that sweet spot. Because for me, I found that there is a sweet spot to use a treat to get calm. But you have to, that's what I want to say. You have to want it. Because you have to wait for that dog to relax, completely relax. I would give every single one of these dogs a treat at this moment right now. But the problem is they're going to get ooh, excited. Especially if you don't do it a lot. Like how I am. But this is how I convince my dogs personally to not hound me and be on me while I'm eating my food. I use treats for that, which is backwards in reality, what most people would think. But I use treats to get them to stop messing with me or even staring at me when I'm eating. Because when I see them calm like this, I'll give them a piece. In most cases, not my food. I got something extra on the side. But sometimes it is my own food. I just give them a piece. But the problem is you got to wait that out. You got to completely wait it out. You got to ignore it. You got to put no energy into it. You got to just let it go. Day one, they're more than likely not going to let it go. But day 2-3 months later, they're going to take a treat and then go back to relax. Take a treat, go back to relax. But you got to want it. You have to wait until the dog is completely gone. And that's the hardest part because a lot, especially with my Dalmatian, I still even haven't done treats with her. I'm just, because she still stares at me a little bit when I'm eating. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it another way because a treat's not going to work with her because she's always got that eye looking. She's always she's never just laid out, just relaxed. These two will just disengage. My Border Collie and Johnny today. If I'm eating and if they're looking at me, they get off me. And they literally turn around, put their butt my way, and just look the other way. And they're just like, okay, well, whatever. Because the best case scenario of how I was training that was I would throw a treat that way. And then they would turn around and go get the treat. And then they would just lay down almost in a sense of, I guess they're looking at it like, oh, maybe something will just fall ahead of me and I'll be able to go and get it. but they know today, I don't know, these guys know for a fact they're never getting a treat unless they are completely relaxed and doing nothing. And that's Dalmatian is tricky. I have to come up with a new way. But it's not so intense right now where she's all right. So, but I'm just going to see if it just starts to fade away later and later, the older and older she gets. But again, this isn't something that's just 20 minutes, we're done, we're fixed. I've been working months with certain things to be able to get my dogs locked in with what it is that I'm looking for, as well as months to be able to get my dogs locked into the fact that I put them on a leash and they just completely hang out and don't do nothing. Nothing. We do nothing. We're just relaxing. So that's how I'm able to get my dogs, especially because it's the coolest thing of having my Dalmatian hooked up to the harness compared to having her hooked up to the flat collar on her neck. So two different animals here. Harness, she's like she's the border collie, how he is, just on the go, on the go, on the go. But on the flat collar, we're nothing. We are doing nothing. That's how I can put her on the leash and take her anywhere I want, and she does nothing. She has zero response. She knows she can't chase nothing. She knows she can't go just take off and go be next to people. She can't do anything. She does nothing at all but just walk and just be able to, the way, what I really like that I see she does is she just sniffing the world away. She just puts the head up and she's just like, ooh, wow, ooh, wow. She's just exploring the world the same way that I'm exploring the world. And we're doing that together in a sense of nothing, just hanging out and being calm. And for some reason, I don't know why, that's so challenging to most people. Most people, you think that to be able to get, because this is how I'm able to go places for almost indefinite amount of times today. I don't have to because I keep watching so many videos when you're using too much obedience and stuff to try to get your dog to go out and be in public. There's a limit that you could do to that dog, and it's hard to build that limit up. That's why especially how my shepherd first was when I'm trying to basically convince him, I want you to walk at a perfect heel position with me. And you get that first, a quarter mile, and that might be too much in reality for most dogs at first. It's a lot. It's a lot for the dog to have to maintain that, because it's most that I'm going to say is it's the mental concentration that they have to put. It's not a physical thing. It's a mental concentration that you walk for a quarter mile, then you have to you got to go, you got to do something. You got to get them to I don't know what word to use there, but play or do something to build their spirits up, I guess I can say, to get them to just let's do that again. I can't think of a word right now with that. But the dogs get tired and they start to slip in and they start to have problems. So to convince a dog to be able to do something like that for hours is almost impossible. But to be able to get a dog to be able to be calm, because at this moment today, it just depends on how far I pull the leash up on. If I pull the leash close enough that I want the dog to be really close to me, I can walk and be in public with him and her for, I don't even know how long at this moment, because I've done it for a long, long time, 5 hours plus already, of just being in public, around a lot of people, around dogs, around kids, around the ducks and the geese and the squirrels and the rabbits, and just in life, in the normal life. Y'all see a lot of my videos here because this is just where I live. If I was living in another house somewhere, I'd be making the videos at home. It's not so easy to make videos out everywhere. It's not my world. I'm just not one that's I want to put everyone involved in my video. It's not mine. I want to share it with everybody, and I don't want to just take it over and consume it to be only just mine. So, but I could take them for hours and have them walk right next to me for hours, because it's not a formal a cue that I'm looking for from them. It's just we're chill, we're calm, we're hanging out. And that allows for the dog to be able to, this is what makes it easy, because then you're like, oh, let's take the kid to the park, and you could just go to the park. And you don't have to worry about all your commands and building up the I guess you could say the endurance and the stamina of the dog to be able to keep on constantly performing, because the dog is just going to, for one, most cases, especially if I'm at the park with my daughter, the dog just lays down. They pretty much have to take a nap. They're just chilled out. I don't need to monitor them, focus on them, and be on them, and worry. Are you guys okay? Do you need a treat? No, it's just we're relaxed. We're not doing anything. And that's when you do more and more and more with that dog. But when you're relying on that that excitability of basically just straight up obedience and having to keep your dog in commands all the time, your adventures are very short-lived. You can't go more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's all that a dog can handle in obedience is 20 minutes. That's already impressive in reality. If a dog can go 30 minutes with sorry, my chickens are I don't know what they're doing. But you go 30 minutes of just keeping a dog in an obedience command all the time. That's impressive in reality at the end of the day. But the dog, that's all that the dog's going to be able to handle. And after that, you're going to start to end up with, straight up, what I know and I see is a dog that's going to start to be bratty, because it's like the kid that's tired and they just get nah. They start crying. You're like, just go to sleep. But it doesn't know how to relax. All it knows is like they just keep going. So it starts to mess up. You start to have to correct it more. You start to have to give it more treats. You just need more and more and more, because the dog is all rowdy. It's not relaxed. And then you're like, oh, I got to scrap this. We got to go, because the dog is going too much. It's doing too much. And there's something that is just fascinating that I just don't, in reality, believe that the most beyond abundance of dog trainers understand how to be able to get a dog to be calm, because it's not what we're taught to be able to do. We're taught to be able to get them to do stuff as opposed to doing nothing. Because my main key goal here is to do nothing. That's why for me, straight up, if I'm face to face with you helping with your dog, I don't see, there's no this is the problem with a lot of stuff. There's no huge monetary gain in doing nothing. I'm showing you what to do, and then they start doing it, and they're just like, wow, why the heck is this working? Why is my dog getting better? Why am I able to bring my dog around more places? Because we're doing nothing, and the dogs can do that for a long time. And that's proven based on seeing a homeless person with their dog in the streets. Those dogs can stand at a street corner for hours, all day, all night, just continue to keep on doing that. They do not have the best genetically bred dogs. They do not have the best of all the stuff with those dogs. Those dogs, in most cases, a lot of those dogs are skittish, sketchy dogs. Nervous, not confident. They're weary dogs. And they're able to just keep them out there with them, because they show them, if you just lay here, man, all your stresses go away. Everything is peaceful. Everything is relaxed. Everything is just calm. Everything is just chill. There's nothing to worry about. And that's what I put into that dog. And that dog wants, oh my goodness, that's when you turn into the best leader on this planet. The best leader that the dog is going to want to look up to, because you're able to get that dog to be able to relax and keep it safe. My dog, I don't care what's going on around, they know we're safe. We're safe. We're good. We're fine. There's nothing to be on edge about. And that dog is going to want to look up to me all the time for assistance, for support, for everything. That's why a lot of times we're quick to take that leash off the dog and just let it go and let it do what it does. And you're not there yet. You're quick to do that. Just keep the leash on the dog some of y'all just never even take the leash off the dog when you're out in public. Just keep it on the dog, because a lot of times it's not about the dog being able to, let me say this. When you're just walking and just relaxing, going to the parks and doing what you're doing, just keep the leash on the dog. If you're going to go and play and go do something, yeah, unleash the dog, let the dog run, let it do what it wants to do. But when you're in basically a high traffic, high distraction areas, which is most places, but if you're just doing that to like go for a walk or just to expose yourself to the world, just keep the dog on the leash. It's going to bring security to the dog to be able to just know how to be able to relax with you. It's going to bring security of knowing that you got it. You got everything handled. The dog doesn't need to try to figure it out, because that's the part that for me, this Dalmatian, she's more. I really like her, but it would be a challenge to some people, because she's like, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm not scared of that. I'm going to walk right into it. She's okay. So if I so she's like the opposite of needing to be on leash to be able to feel safe. A lot of dogs, the leash brings them safety of like, they don't have to like pick and choose all what to do. They're just going to do what we tell them to do, basically. And they're going to follow our lead. But there's some dogs that they know how to lead. They know how to get stuff done. They know how to they basically like, because that's the dogs that get confused and get a lot of people like in your feelings. Dogs, because that's how German Shepherds are. That's how this Border Collie is. They're ahead of us. They know what we're about to do, so they're like, I'll do that. And sometimes it's like, yeah, but sometimes, and in reality, kind of most of the time, no. Don't already do what you think that I might want to tell you to do, because I might change that at any moment. So don't just do that. And those dogs there, for sure, keep it on a leash until it knows for a fact to pay attention to you. To know that when you stop, the dog stops. When you go, the dog goes. When you are standing, the dog lays down and hangs out. You sit down, the dog lays down and hangs out. When you do that, the dog needs to understand that before you allow that dog to just go off and do what it does. But in reality, straight up, most of the places and most of the world, just keep your dog on the leash. I don't know what the huge like flex is to be like, yeah, my dog is off leash. Because most dogs I see are when they're off, they're extra stressed. They're extra stressed. And that's, to me personally, there's a problem that I see with this. Because when we're training the dog too much with all this excitability, the leash becomes a like a sense of restriction. So the dogs are trying to go, they're trying to go, they're trying to go, they're trying to go, they're trying to go. But when you're just doing nothing at all, the leash becomes a sense of confidence. And that's what I believe the problems are. Because the most cases, that's why the dogs are lunging and going crazy when they're excitable and or fearful. Because they're on that leash in a sense of, I can't escape, I'm scared, I'm nervous. As opposed to being on the leash and saying, actually, my safest bet is to be with you. Because if I actually go out there, that might harm me, that might hurt me. If I just stay with you, you're gonna keep me safe. And that's what I want my dogs across the board always to know. When you're on leash with me, I got you. I got you. Nothing out there is gonna mess with you. I got you. And I'm gonna have to do whatever I have to do to be able to make sure that whatever comes at us, that I got you. And then this is the most beautiful thing that I guess that I can say when the dogs understand that. Because this is the part where the mind games of the dog come in. When I can never control the world. Dogs are gonna come up to my dogs. But when my dog is on the leash, knowing that I'm confident, I'm chill, I'm calm. My dog is calm, my dog is chill. When a dog comes up to my dog, and my dog always looks up at me, and I just stand there like, sometimes, in some cases, there's nothing I can do. The dog's coming. It's coming. And it's gonna come and it's gonna sniff my dog. But the biggest thing is my dog feels in that sense that since I'm not responding, I'm not reacting, I'm not doing anything, the dog is like, okay, well, this must be fine. The dog's coming up, he must be fine. So the dog comes up, he does a little sniffity sniff, and then it just moves on, and I have no issues. But when my dog is on leash and it's nervous or it's too excitable, that's when that dog that comes running up to me, you better be nervous now, because your dog is gonna start to do something. It's gonna do something, and then it's gonna cause that other dog to wanna have to do something. And that's when you're gonna start to run into battles, because the dog doesn't understand exactly what that leash means. The leash means, for me, personally, straight up, you're off duty. There's no work involved right now. There's no sniff and search. There's no chase. There's no nothing. There's nothing when that leash is around that neck. There's nothing going on in the world right now. You're not doing anything. And I do that simply being what I want to say is the hardest thing I think for us as human beings, especially in the year of the 2024 and the October of, is October 7th today? October of the 7th, is to be patient. To be patient. To just know that day one, it's gonna look a fool. It's gonna be a mess. Your dog is gonna be moving, it's gonna be huffing, it's gonna be pulling, it's gonna be doing this. You're gonna be like, oh my goodness, you boxing, but you just plant your feet and you just do this. Dog is moving, man. It's just, you're just there. And then you're like, okay, it's been, your normal walk period time, I guess. So say 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes of this madness. Let's do it again tomorrow. In best case scenario, let's do it again in a couple hours, and do that like 5 times a day if you have the luxury to be able to do such a thing, which most people, not 5, but at least twice, because you got a morning, you got an evening. And you go through that. Day one, it's like, holy crap. Day two, it may still seem the same way. You're like, man, it's actually a little bit worse. They're pulling a little bit harder. I'm just sitting here bobbing and weaving with this, like, holy crap. But day after day after day after day after day, the dog is going to like, ugh, and it'll look just like this. And then they're going to stay there. And then when your dog starts to look like this, now, okay, well, let's walk around the neighborhood now. And if you take 2 steps and the dog is back to bobbing and weaving, you're going to stand there again and wait and wait and wait. Because the main thing here is it's the patient waiting game that we're going to do here now. We're waiting. The dog needs to wait on me. It's going to wait on me. That's the leadership position here. It's got nothing to do with like forcing the dog or pressuring the dog or giving treats to the dog. The leadership position comes from we're going when I say to go. Because that's how, in reality, nature works. Whoever's the one that's the boss person, everyone is waiting. He says, hey, wait, guys, wait. Everyone wait. Everyone waits. And then he says, okay, let's go. And we all go. I'm going to take that role. I don't need to say any words. I don't need no language. I don't need no cues. I don't need no nothing. I just need to stand there and say, we're not going until I decide that we're going. And when I decide that we're going, okay, now we're going to move forward. And then once you start to go all crazy again, wait, I'm dictating what's happening right now. And that's to say the dictator part of working with life, that everything, unfortunately, we have. It's the thing is when you go too far into things, that's when it becomes dangerous. But every single person on this planet has narcissism in them. We all have all this stuff in us. It's just when you go too far into something, that's when you're just pushing it now. You're pushing it too much. But we have that. We want to be able to balance all of everything that we have available to us. And the biggest thing I just know with these dogs of how to get them to be calm is I'm I'm standing here. And you have to be the most patient, not the most patient, but just a patient person to be able to just stand there. Just stand there and wait. Because usually, as soon as I can get about 10 steps and the dog is still just with me without pulling on the leash, I can usually go for a much longer walk. But I stand in a spot, and then I take 1 or 2 steps, and then I have to wait. I got to take 1 or 2 steps, and then I have to wait. I take 1 or 2 steps, and this is days and days and days. And this is the part where I'm going to outwit the dog in just my level of patience, my level of willingness to just continue to keep on going at this. And then the dog is just it's gonna say, okay, well, I can't do anything until I listen to what you are trying to tell me to do. And that's when the dog starts to just, the magic happens in the dog's brain. It's like, oh, if I just listen to you, man, then I'll be able to go and be able to sniff that tree. Instead of me just rampage going and sniffing a tree and expecting you to just come with me, I got to go with you to that tree. And then we start to really get somewhere. And it starts with just the dog being absolutely calm, absolutely relaxed. And you spend time with that over and over. That's why for me, the same with that lady I was trying to help with her dog in this one specific case that I just never forget. She's just not calm. Just literally in 20 seconds, oh, let's go, we gotta go. And then you wonder why your dog is like always energized to have to do something. Because that's what you're showing the dog. If you show the dog is going to do what you're showing the dog. I do not care what breed. I do not care where it came from. I don't care none of that. The dog is going to do what you show the dog to do. If you show the dog that the only way you can go for a walk is if you're doing this rampage, this running, this bite work, this sprinting, that's all that you're going to get from the dog. But if you show the dog, I want you to be calm, the dog is going to be calm. The dog is just going to do what it is that we are asking from the dog. I do not care the drives of the dog. And I might have to make a video, but I would recommend a different trainer to talk about the drives of the dog. If you just don't understand what I talk about when I say a dog's drive. A dog's prey drive to have to go and do something. The dog's defense drive to have to go and get something out. The drives of the dog. Some of these dogs have extreme drives. This Border Collie has an intense drive. This Dalmatian has an intense drive. They don't have an intense drive to go off and bite something, but I'm telling you, anything that's moving, I mean, why do you think when I play with my flirt pole and the lure course with this dog, a plastic bag? Because it's what a lot of Border Collies and a lot of Australian Shepherds, just anything that moves, they're like, it's moving. They have extreme drive for leaves. This dude, when it's windy out here, he could go for hours chasing. I got leaves out here. He could go for hours chasing these leaves and just go and go and go and go. That's extreme drive. And I could take that same dog and get him to just lay here and hang out and just relax because he understands that he gets a chance to be, someone's pulling. He gets a chance to be able to go into that extreme drive based on me saying we're doing that now. And that's what's complicated with him a lot of times when I'm especially making videos in the back and doing what I'm doing when I'm around the chickens. Because if I get to the point where I like get a little, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, you want me to do that? Because even like right now, he's looking at that chick. When I start to do certain motions, he's like, oh, okay, I'll get that chick for you. It's instant for him. And that's him, the part where I'll say it's some dogs are harder because they want to do ahead of what it is that you're telling them to do. He's already like, I know what you want. I'll get it done for you. In most cases, I'm like, Oreo, no, actually, I don't want that right now. So that's why I call him off, say, oh, we're not doing that. And it's interesting because if I leave him out, which he doesn't, he'll always run back to the porch. But if he's at the porch and the gate's open and I'm in the house, he chases and he does nothing but stay there because he does that with me. We do that together. We're the ones that are in this together. He doesn't go off and just do what he wants when he wants to do it because it all stems from if you're relaxed and are listening to me, you have, in reality, the freedom to do what you please. That's why today, all these dogs have the freedom to be able to move around when I'm out here, to be able to do what they want to do. Because they have proven to me that they'll listen to me. That if I need you to come back, you'll come back. They've proven to me. And this is the part with Ophi, you good? This is the part with this Dalmatian that I'm upgrading her experience a little bit of kind of going back to putting her on leash again outside because I'm trying to teach her the concept of I don't mind you chewing stuff, but you better show me what it is that you're chewing on. And because she just has this, her food is insane. Her food of just, I want food, I gotta get food. So she's always like sniffing for food. Whereas my shepherd, he's sniffing for like old dogs and animals and other stuff. So it's safe for him to just go off and sniff and does what he does. But this dog, I'm just being a little cautious based on how intense her food drive is to want to go and sniff stuff out and go and get it and just want to eat it. I don't want her to just eat. I want to see what you're eating. And then she'll bring it to me and say, okay, so all right. So a few times during the day, or my basically my morning sessions when I'm out here doing what I'm doing, she's very close to me now again, because I don't allow her to just go take off, go do what she wants. She's got to be very close to me. And then she'll earn, I'll say her more freedom again later on, more and more and more. But for right now, I'm kind of smothering her to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for right now. And I'm going to be that leader to say, hey, you know what? I don't approve of that right now. Let's not do that. Okay, you can chew that. That one's fine. And then she'll just, okay, we'll start to work with each other. But it doesn't come down to me having a punish her or do anything to her. It just comes down to me having patience and slowing down with my expectations, slowing everything down. Slow down. That's the hard part about this world today, is we are supposed to appear to be fast, but we're not. It's just an appearance. Slow down. And when you slow down, you're going to realize and see like things just get much, much, much better in your life. Much better. And the biggest thing is that patience. And the biggest thing on top of that is the fact that it's you. It's not the dogs. I promise, and this is almost a slap of a guarantee, that I can get 100% dogs across the board to be able to hang out and relax on leash, because I have the willingness behind me to outsmarts and outwits the dog, outperform the dog in being relaxed and being calm. The dog at some point is just going to just say, hey, okay, what is it that you want, man? And it's easy when I have a puppy, but I don't really like getting puppies too much. I like getting older dogs to just challenge it a little bit more, because it's a whole different scenario. The dog's been doing what the dog's been doing for years. And you try to come in and try to tell the dog to do something different, it gets a little more complicated in that moment. But I'm going to be the one that's going to be more patient, more headstrong in what it is that I'm looking for, and not allow the dog to just push me around. I will get every dog to be able to do that, because I will take the time required and needed. Because the more time I spend now, this is why I spend so much time with this Dalmatian. All my dogs in reality, I spent a crazy amount of time with this Border Collie. Johnny, come here a little bit. You're a little too far. All right, you good right there. You pulling on my leash. I'm like, no pulling, no nothing. I don't care if you itching. But man, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. I think that's the first time I just forgot what I was saying. It's all right. The biggest thing is I'm just constantly getting the dogs to just be able to just know I'm here. You're waiting for me. You're waiting for me. And I'm going to stand here and wait until we just are able to relax. I will get any and every dog across the board, because every dog I ever bring here, every dog I ever interact with, every dog I've ever seen still, they all get to this point. Because I rarely meet dogs that are like my Border Collie. Rarely. Ophi. I rarely meet dogs like that. I've never even met a dog that can be able to, say, run and be as athletically strong as this Dalmatian here. To get her to get to the point that she's actually tired. I mean tired, just tired. I've never had a dog that can go. I mean, when I first got her, we were going for 16-mile walks daily, 7 days a week. And I still couldn't get this dog tired. She's still like, I got a little bit more. So then I would come here and do stuff and play and run. And she just, it was almost like impossible to get her tired. And then now I've been doing pretty good with just the flirt pole. But if she gets like, if my walks that I'm doing nowadays don't get her, then I've got that lure course to just let her run it out. And I finally have stuff to be able to get her to get tired. But that's through just doing stuff. And I've just never experienced another dog like that. I've never experienced another dog that has the drive of how this Border Collie can just go. He just goes. I work so many Australian Shepherds, and they get tired, man. They get tired. Mine gets tired, and he's just like, I can still work through that. That's fine. But that's what he was bred to do. That's what he's bred to be like. He's purposely bred to be like a hardcore athlete. That's what he is. And that's what this Dalmatian is. She's an athlete. Whereas this Johnny, he's just he chill. he the opposite of what these guys are. And every single dog across the board, I'm able to get to that point, because I start every single one the same way. I don't worry about the obedience first. I'm going to worry about calm first. Because once they're calm first, obedience is like, it's a breeze. And I'm able to activate the dog and then being able to get the dog back to relax really, really fast, really fast, really fast. It happens almost instantaneously, because the dogs already know what our overall state we want to be in, which is relaxed. And it's anyone that's always like, oh, my dog would never this. My dog, I've worked with every single person's dog that says that. My dog, you'll never be able to get my dog tired. I'll take your dog and I take it for a quick little jog around the block, and your dog comes back exhausted, stumbling, fumbling, tongue hanging out like it's about to just pass out. It doesn't even know what to do in life anymore. And you're like, Oh, I've never seen my dog that tired before. I work dogs of standing in one place and have the dog on the leash. I've never got my dog tired. I've gotten dogs tired by doing this because the dog is going. So 2 hours later, the dog just passes out, sleeps all night. People are like, I've never seen my dog so tired ever in his life before because I'm working the dog past and through all of its issues to be able to get it to be in that calm stance. And I will outperform any dog standing. That's what was hard with this Dalmatian because she could go. If we just went for a walk, I mean, I'm talking 20, 30, 40 miles, this girl would just go. Even on a nice little trot, little jog, this dog will go 30 miles, no problem. Who the heck can do that? That's not an everyday thing. And so when I say I work with dogs that have my shepherd, he can sniff stuff out. Oh my goodness, he can go crazy. And I could do the same thing with every single one of these animals, every single one of them, because I spend an extraordinary amount of time on just standing and being. Thank you. Hey guys. And this is the part where, I always got someone that's got something to say about what it is that I do. I have an intentional control on my dogs right now by keeping them on leash. And they act the same way. If not, my dogs personally, how I always see them, they act way better when they're on leash compared to when they're off leash. My dogs are way more in tune with wanting to listen to what I'm saying when they're on leash compared to off leash. And for me personally, I believe that the only way to really know what your dog is doing and how your dog is by seeing how they act and how they perform with you when they're on leash. If they're acting a fool with you on leash, they're going to act even more of a fool when they're off leash. And the dog is going to appear to look like it's having fun and doing what it's doing, but it's not going to want to listen to a single thing that you have to say. You want the dog on leash with you out front to be able to get the dog to be able to. This is the fast track that we have. Some human, years, decades, centuries, millennia ago, has put a leash on a dog and realized if I just could keep the dog with me, I could fast track what I'm doing here. You don't need to, because again, I never trained a leash with this Border Collie. I just trained you stay with me. And now that he's older, he understands that. But I did that again, a lot of time with him. His drive is high. It's really high. But he can appear to look good and great and when he's running and doing what he's doing. But when he's on leash, that's the real dog. You'll see how pushy your dog actually truly is. You'll see how needy your dog really is. You'll see all the said flaws in the dog when you purposely put the dog and keep it on leash and keep it next to you. And that's why I spend a lot of time with that, to let them know, for one, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be excited about. We're just going to be able to relax. And when you spend a lot of time on that, you end up with a dog that is just, I could dance around the world. Because for me, it's not work. It's work when you're having to play these games when you go for a walk. It's hard. That's hard, man. It's hard. But the way I can go for a walk today with these dogs, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Some of y'all big sports fanatics, you could throw the game on your phone and listen to it. Go back to an old school way of listening to the games and stuff, which I don't do the sports. I don't watch nothing. But just go back to listening to it over the news broadcast, of hearing it, instead of just having to watch it, but just hear it and experience something different. And go for a walk and listen to the game. Go for a walk and listen to the book. Go for a walk and throw on some feel-good tunes. Go for a walk and just stay in your mind and just think about something that you want to do. Go for a walk and completely erase and try your best to erase all thoughts to just walk and just experience and see the world. And you can do that when your dogs look like this. It's easy. It's enjoyable. But when your dog is like doing the most, that's an absolute nightmare. Come here. Come here. Sorry, I'm being lazy. I don't feel like bending all the way down there. You can go. You can go. Hi, Johnny. You can go. Because here, they're always going to look different. When they're off leash, doing what they're doing, she just has a good old time with this parenting. I don't know if you can see him on the egg, see him. She's starting to really, that's the dog that if she were to, she selected him for her mate, I guess I can say. Because when she goes into heat, she's just all about this dude. She don't care about none of the other dogs. She's all about him. And in reality, at the end of the day, that'd be a very interesting mix. A super calm, super chill dog compared to a dog that could just go, just go, go, go. That would probably bring a dog that's a little more stable. That's just more just super, super relaxed. That they don't go straight into drive and moving at everything. Just a relaxed out dog. But it's interesting to see them together and see how they play and see what they do. I don't know why she likes him so much. She doesn't really care for the border collie or my shepherd the same way. She likes playing with him.